I have a John Wilkes Booth wanted poster.
Oh my God.
Aren't these like incredibly rare?
They're very, very rare. I know they're worth over $100,000.
It is a really, really important part of American history.
World War II photos, Japanese Zero that they shot down over the Aleutians.
The Aleutians? How is it I never heard of this? They could be a major collector's item.
It all starts with a guy bringing in what he claims is an authentic Civil War drum. The story says it was passed down from a family friend and features 13-star flag symbolism. Rick is intrigued, but something feels off immediately. The drum looks far too decorative and pristine for wartime use. Rick starts wondering whether it's a genuine battlefield relic or simply a fancy parade instrument designed more for show than historical combat action.
I came down to the pawn shop today because I've got a Civil War drum that I'd really like to sell. It doesn't have too much sentimental value to it, so that's why we decided to sell it. Well, I'd like to get maybe $2,000 for it.
So where did you get this thing?
A good family friend of ours who collected Civil War, antiques, she gave it to us as a gift.
Rick brings in his trusted history expert, hoping for confirmation. Instead, the expert drops a truth bomb. The drum isn't from the Civil War at all. It's a beautifully crafted late 19th century parade drum. Impressive, but not battle-worn. The seller is visibly crushed. After some firm negotiation, Rick offers $500. The seller hesitates, then agrees. It's not a wartime relic, but it's still a gorgeous antique that finds a new home.
One of the interesting things about snare drums, and this would have been a snare drum, you'd have a head on one side that was just the normal skin. And on the underside of it, you would have the snares running across, and you use those to add to the sound. Because the whole point of the drums was you had to have those in order to communicate.
Meanwhile, Chumlee announces he's ready to step up and take on security duties. Yes, Chum as security. Naturally, it goes exactly how everyone expects. The old man calls it a disaster waiting to happen. Corey jokes they're guaranteed to get robbed, and Rick threatens to confiscate Chum's imaginary pistol. Chum, however, remains determined, convinced he's the next great protector of the pawn shop, despite having zero qualifications or actual authority in the role.
That's an accident waiting to happen, son.
Well, you're not going to do it, are you?
No.
Well, we got to have somebody work the door, and Chumlee's volunteering.
You really gonna let Twiddly D man the door? Having Chumlee work the door is like putting a screen door on a submarine.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, we can get robbed?
No, I'll have a pistol on me.
Next, Rick and the old man examine a 1922 photographer's printing table, a relic once used for producing postcards. It has antique bulbs, adjustable panels, and classic Red Room vibes. The seller claims he paid $60 for it, but wants up to $10,000. Rick nearly chokes. He offers $350 instead, pointing out limited demand and restoration needs. The seller rejects the offer and walks away, leaving the unusual but unsellable table behind.
This is the 1922 photographer's printing table. Well, all the parts are here, and I think it's got some pretty cool components, especially this hand-blown glass light bulb.
That's probably got like one of the smallest filaments I've ever seen in a light bulb.
Then comes one of the funniest training montages ever. Antoine attempting to teach Chum how to handle security. Chum suggests chokeholds, clubs, and heroic maneuvers straight out of action movies. Antoine just wants him to stay alert, be professional, and avoid terrifying customers. Watching Chum try and fail to act serious tests Antoine's patience to the limit. It's clear Chum loves the fantasy of security work far more than any real responsibilities involved.
We gotta pay, it's attention to detail, bro. Like, sit up. I'm trying to train Chum to run security, but he's not really taking it that serious.
So what are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for shoplifters, thieves. We're looking for anything unusual.
A seller brings in 1946 Royal Riders motorcycle memorabilia, complete with helmet, goggles, and a kidney belt. Rick calls Danny for expertise. Danny explains it's a great example of post-World War II biker culture and could absolutely appeal to collectors. However, it wasn't worn by motorcycle legend Ed Kretz, despite the seller's hopes. Even without celebrity provenance, the outfit still carries strong vintage appeal and represents an early era of American motorcycle enthusiasm.
Yeah, this is the way they used to ride. The helmet was to keep you warm, it wasn't to protect your head.
I've been in motorcycle accidents, and this wouldn't have been a fun thing to have crashed in.
I came down to the shop today to sell my 1946 Royal Riders motorcycle memorabilia.
Danny estimates the set's value between $1,200 and $1,500. The seller pushes for $1,500, but Corey negotiates with his classic calm persistence. After some back and forth, they settle at $1,200, giving the seller a solid return and the shop a collectible display piece. Even without direct ties to motorcycle royalty, the memorabilia still offers great craftsmanship and nostalgic charm, making it a worthwhile acquisition for Rick and the team.
He held, speed records, kind of a pioneer in aggressive, competitive motorcycle. The Royal Riders were a pretty significant club because it was really early on. I mean, these guys formed in the 40s, and that's an awfully long time ago to start a motorcycle club.
A man rolls in with a 1652 sixpence coin, hoping to score big. He wants $3,000, but the coin has clearly been through a rough life, cracked, heavily worn, and officially graded as damaged. Rick explains that flaws dramatically reduce value, then offers $500. The seller's ego takes a noticeable hit, and despite Rick's reasoning, he ultimately declines the offer and walks away disappointed, still holding a very battered piece of currency.
What do we got here?
It's a 1652 sixpence.
Okay.
Rick, this looks like it's run over by a truck.
What do you expect? It's 359 years old. I decided to come down to the pawn shop today to sell my 1652 sixpence.
In classic Chumlee fashion, he tries negotiating at the door with someone bringing in a Middle Eastern sword. Chum throws out a $700 offer like he suddenly has cashier authority. Corey steps in instantly, shutting down the attempt and reminding him security guards do not make deals. Chum protests, but Corey stands firm. The moment perfectly captures why Chum should not and will not be allowed anywhere near actual purchasing decisions at the shop.
Welcome to Gold and Silver. Whoa, hey, what do you got there?
Middle Eastern sword from the late 1800s.
What do you want for it?
About $1,000.
I give you $700.
Chumlee.
What?
Security guards don't make deals on the fly. Sir, come on over here. I'll try to help you.
Finally, Rick brings Antoine back for a high-end escort situation. Chumlee is still on his wannabe Secret Service kick, eager to join, sunglasses and all. Rick decides to walk the customer to the car himself, leaving Chum pouting on the sidelines. It's the perfect ending to Chum's short-lived security experiment. Plenty of enthusiasm, zero practicality. The shop survives another day, thanks mostly to Antoine's professionalism and Rick's willingness to step in.
I just bought a watch off a guy for $5,000. I need Antoine to walk him to the car.
Antoine's still out. You got Bonnie Fife over at the door.
I'll walk him to the car myself.
Wow, it looks like Chum really found his calling.
Don't you know it, Corey?
First up, a guy walks in holding what looks like your standard Old West revolver. But no, it's an original Colt Single Action Army. Rick's face lights up like a kid in a candy store. It's the original Colt 45, he gushes. The seller paid only $25 for it, an insane bargain, yet now wants $5,000. Rick stares at it like he's witnessing a legendary relic destined to rewrite someone's bank account.
Hey, what can I help you with?
Hey, I got this gun and I want to sell it.
Okay. Where did you get it?
I got it from an old man I got 6 guns from, and I think this is the one that's worth the most.
Rick launches into a mini-western documentary, explaining it was nicknamed The Peacemaker. The authentic holster wear suggests it actually lived life on someone's hip. Feeling lucky, Rick skips calling his gun expert and throws down $3,000 in cash on the spot. The seller doesn't hesitate. He grabs the money and bolts for the Vegas Strip faster than someone chasing jackpot lights. Rick watches him go, wondering whether he just scored big.
Normally, I'd like to call my buddy Sean in before I buy a gun like this, but he's out of town right now. But this gun is in such great condition, I don't see how I could lose money on it. So I need to make a move now, or this thing's gonna walk out the door. $2,800.
35.
I'll go $3,000. I'm not gonna go no more.
Done.
Okay.
So.
All right, $3,000.
Rick finally brings in his gun guru, Sean, who treats the Colt like a sacred artifact. He admires it lovingly, calling it the gun that won the West. Sean confirms the pearl grips are aftermarket additions, but the wear patterns are authentic. This thing lived in a holster, not a display case. Sean's enthusiasm practically radiates, reassuring Rick that the revolver is absolutely the real deal, despite the flashy replacement grip panels.
What's going on, Rick?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, look what I bought.
On occasion, Rick calls me in. He's bought something that I wasn't available to help him out with. He just wanted to make sure before he goes to resell it that he's representing it correctly.
And then it's off to the shooting range. Rick straps in like a Wild West sheriff preparing for a showdown. With 6 shots loaded, cowboy swagger on full display, he raises the Colt 45 and fires. 3 bullets land solid hits. Sean laughs and declares, "I think he's a dead bad guy." Rick walks away from the target grinning proudly, looking like Clint Eastwood's younger cousin, proving he's got the same gunslinger energy.
You got cowboy loads for this thing?
Yep, and this is the difference.
All right, let's do this.
Get him, Rick. Oh, yeah.
Nice!
Suddenly, a 1950s Benz scooter rolls in, and Corey perks up instantly. "Oh sweet, a Benz," he says, before realizing it's not Mercedes, but a German Vespa imitator. Still, it's quirky, rare, and undeniably cool. The seller wants $2,000, but Corey offers $800 instead. The standoff begins as both men size each other up, trying to decide whether this vintage scooter is a hidden gem or simply stylish mid-century oddity.
Where'd you find this thing?
I bought this at a flea market. There were about 50 pickers, and everybody wanted this scooter.
All you pickers think alike, huh?
I guess we do.
Benz. It was made by one of the designers of Volkswagen right around the same time an Italian company you might have heard of called Vespa.
After haggling like it's a holiday blowout sale, Corey bumps the offer to $1,075, but not before performing a compression test with dramatic precision, as if auditioning for a mechanical Olympics. The scooter passes the test, and the seller happily accepts the deal. Considering he originally paid $650, walking out with over $1,000 feels like a smooth victory.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd want to do on an almost 70-year-old scooter. This scooter is awesome. It has a cool 50s style that people just love. But since most people haven't heard of a Benz, it probably won't sell like a pricey vintage collectible one will.
Then the episode swerves into history. A man brings in World War II photographs showing a Japanese Zero fighter that crash-landed in Alaska. Rick is stunned. "How have I never heard of this?" he mutters. The seller explains it was the first Zero captured by American forces. Rick plays it wisely and calls in Mark, the shop's go-to historian, wanting solid confirmation before even thinking about handing over cash for something potentially monumental.
It was the first Japanese Zero that they ever shot down.
Wow.
It was actually over the Aleutians.
A Japanese Zero getting shot down in the Aleutians? Okay, which is part of Alaska.
It's not really the Pacific Theater, is it?
Mark arrives and confirms the photos capture real history. The plane crashed during a failed Japanese diversion meant to distract from the Battle of Midway. The crash allowed the US to reverse engineer the Zero, giving American pilots a major technical advantage. However, the photos aren't rare. They were widely reproduced. Mark says they're not rare, but they're real. Rick offers $200. The seller groans, but eventually accepts the practical offer.
This was the first Zero that we were able to bring back to the States and get back into flying shape. And that was important. What we could test on this is things like its turning radius, its speed to climb.
Then enters a man carrying an alien-themed crystal skull carved from Tiger's Eye gemstone. He explains that collecting 13 skulls and standing among them supposedly summons cosmic energy. The old man doesn't blink, treating it like a normal Tuesday. "We'll buy it if it's priced right," he mutters. The skull is glossy, heavy, and oddly mesmerizing, strange enough to intrigue the shop without crossing into outright science fiction territory.
I mean, and I'm stretching at that.
Meet me in the middle and go 250.
All right, 250.
All right.
All right, let's go write them up.
Okay, settled on 250. It's not what I wanted to get, but sometimes you just got to cut your losses, and breaking even's not always the worst thing in the world.
The skull is undeniably cool, smooth finish, rich golden brown sparkle, and just the right amount of unsettling charm. The seller wants $200, but the old man dismissively calls it a paperweight. The negotiation becomes a good-natured roast session until both sides settle at $140. Corey jokes that if it doesn't sell, they'll wrap it as the old man's Christmas present. Nothing says festive like a spooky gemstone head.
Basically an iron ore, and it used to be made into jewelry.
Tiger Eye is fairly so easily to carve.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is if you move it around in the light, it has like a silky luster about it.
Back to the famous Colt 45. Rick anxiously asks Sean whether his $3,000 gamble was a mistake. Sean smiles and reassures him it's worth at least $5,000, possibly more. Rick beams like he just pulled off a heist. Sean warns him not to restore anything, insisting it should be sold exactly as found. Rick nods, but deep down he clearly wants to shoot it again before ever letting it leave his hands.
Somebody may be a little upset that, oh, there's a crack here, you know. It's been there, it did that. These were working man's guns. This was the only protection you had.
Just when things seem normal again, a man walks in holding Elvis Presley's medical records, x-rays, EKGs, everything. Rick flips through them, muttering, "I can see why he had a heart attack." The seller claims he found them in a dumpster, which raises more questions than answers. It's a bizarre find, and though fascinating, it's also precarious memorabilia that could easily be faked hacked, stolen, or completely unverifiable in any meaningful way.
Hey, how can I help you?
I have Elvis Presley's medical records.
That's definitely different.
These are Elvis Presley EKGs.
Looks like Elvis suffered from too many deep-fried peanut butter sandwiches.
The seller wants $50,000 for the king's medical documents. Rick shuts that down hard. There's no signature, no authentication. Could sell for hundreds or nothing. Buying questionable medical records for the price of a luxury car is not on Rick's agenda today. The man walks out disappointed, leaving behind one of the strangest items the shop has ever turned away. Elvis has left the building again.
I think historically interesting, probably very difficult to value.
Yeah, very difficult to value. Elvis collectors will buy just about anything he touched, but I've never seen anything like this before.
First through the doors is a guy holding what he swears is a legit Harry Houdini straitjacket. It's for, like, crazy people, he says cheerfully. Rick isn't laughing. He's sweating with anticipation. This thing looks like it belongs in a haunted asylum or a Metallica album cover. The guy wants $100,000. Rick doesn't say no, but he's definitely gonna call in backup.
I have an antique straitjacket.
For like crazy people kind of straitjacket?
Well, this is not just any straitjacket. This is an original Harry Houdini straitjacket.
Okay, it does look Friday the 13th-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Before the expert arrives, we get a deep dive into Houdini's wild career. From library escapes and hurricane winds to dangling upside down and death-defying stunts. Rick's eyes are glowing. If this is real, he says, we're talking stacks of cash. But the seller's story has a red flag. Houdini's brother Theo was notorious for selling knockoff Houdini items. The drama builds.
Hey, you're back.
I am.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. So I found the only photographs of a jacket that's as close as we can get to this jacket. It's the exact same style, made by the same company.
Next, a customer shows up with a bullhorn speaker from Ebbets Field, the old Brooklyn Dodgers stadium. And this isn't just any speaker. It might have been the one that announced Jackie Robinson's name to the world. Rick nerds out. That's baseball royalty, he says. The seller wants $500, but Rick starts at $200. Here comes the negotiation tango.
This is from Ebbets Field in New York.
Okay.
When it was torn down, and I was able to purchase it.
You got any paperwork saying it's from?
Yes, I do. I have a certificate and a listing from auction.
All right.
After a solid back and forth, they settle at $350, and Rick seems content. Probably the only time I'll ever buy a speaker with that much history, he mutters. Honestly, same. The guy walks out pumped for a steak dinner, and I swear that speaker's probably already on Chumlee's DJ table.
Would die to have something like this. It's not something that'll fetch a huge amount of money, but if I can get it for a decent price, there's definitely a market for it. So what do you want to do with it?
I'm looking to sell it.
Okay, and what are you looking to get out of it?
And then things get inspirational. A man walks in holding a signed letter from Helen Keller, along with a photo. The letter talks about workplace eye injuries. Real heavy stuff. Rick's intrigued, but the signature looks weird, like suspiciously pencil drawn. He doesn't want to get bamboozled, so he calls in his autograph expert, Drew.
I've looked a few places and I've seen hundreds to thousands, but you always hope that it's worth more.
Where did you get this thing?
I bought it at a charity auction. I'm interested in these kind of things.
I know Helen Keller, she was very political.
Yeah, she was a member of the Socialist Party. I think she helped found the ACLU.
But before Drew shows up, Chumlee sets up that old Ebbets speaker inside the store and uses it as a PA system. Clean up on aisle 5, echoes through the shop. Rick just shakes his head like a man who's made too many poor hiring choices. Honestly, if that speaker lasts the day, it's a miracle.
What are you doing?
I'm setting the speaker up.
Any particular reason?
It's the item of the day. All right, I tie some history into the shop at, selling point, dude.
Does it work?
Drew finally arrives to inspect the Keller letter. He busts out forensic-level handwriting analysis and drops a bomb. Helen Keller actually used a ruler to space her letters. That's how precise she was. And guess what? The letter checks out. It's real. Written in pencil, just like she preferred. Drew confirms. Boom. Certified.
This is what I called you about.
No kidding. I'm with Authentic Autographs Unlimited, and I'm a forensic document examiner.
It may be signed by Helen Keller.
Maybe is right. That's true. Well, Helen Keller is one of the most amazing women of all time, in my opinion. Just an amazing person.
Rick offers $400, the seller counters at $700, and they finally settle at $550. A solid win for everyone, especially for someone who literally pulled this from a charity auction. As Rick says, it's better than letting it collect dust.
Sounds good.
All right, very good.
Thanks a lot.
Good to see you.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Usual.
It was a good feeling to know that it was real. I'm confident that it was, but it's always good to be reassured.
Okay, so how much do you want?
I'd like to get around $700.
We're back to the big mystery. Houdini's straitjacket. Rick's expert, Murray the magician, finally arrives, and this guy is serious. "I've traveled the world doing magic," he says, like a wizard walking into Mordor. He confirms the jacket's from the early 1900s, and it has the stamp from Swanfeld, Houdini's favorite custom jacket maker. The odds? 1 in a million.
Good to see you, eh?
Hey,
Rick.
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm a magician. I travel the world doing various magic. I've been in magic over 25 years.
This is what I called you about. This is supposed to be Houdini's straitjacket.
So what's the history of it, just so we know a little bit on it?
The story is Theo gave this jacket to my grandfather. He was very good friends with Theo.
But Murray doesn't stop there. He literally finds a photo of Houdini wearing the exact same jacket in 1915. He counts every rivet, every stitch, and it all matches. "This is the jacket," he announces, and Rick's brain almost explodes. I mean, this is like finding Excalibur at a garage sale.
What I'm looking at is very, very small imperfections. The buttons, the stitches, the cut of the leather, and exactly where the rivets were placed. That's what really tells you if the jacket's the one in the photograph.
Now comes the money talk. Murray estimates the jacket could sell for $34,000 to $42,000. Rick offers $25,000, but the seller holds strong at $40,000, eventually saying $30,000 would seal the deal. Rick stays firm. The seller walks. This man just walked away from 25 grand. Rick nearly chases him down in the parking lot.
Houdini's jacket from January 1st, 1915.
That is absolutely awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Even in magic history.
Now that we found out that it's real, I wish me and my cousins hadn't played so hard in it when we were 5 and 6 years old.
All right, so tell me.
Before the episode ends, a guy brings in a massive antique Carl Zeiss telescope, hoping for $12,000. Rick nearly chokes. In perfect condition, maybe $2,500. But this one? Beat up and missing parts. The seller's face drops. After some surprisingly civil negotiation, they land at $1,000, and Rick plans to restore it.
Hey, boss, you gotta check this out.
How are you, sir?
Oh, pretty good.
Great.
What do we have here?
This is a telescope that I've had, and I'm moving from a house to an apartment now, so I thought I'd bring it in.
The chaos begins when a man walks in holding what he believes is an original John Wilkes Booth wanted poster. Rick practically chokes. "Aren't those incredibly rare?" he asks, visibly fighting the urge to freak out. The seller casually says he's hoping for $30,000, though pristine originals can fetch over $100,000. The problem? This copy looks like it survived several wars, floods, and maybe even a house fire or two.
Hi, guys.
Hey, it's you again.
What do we got? I have a John Wilkes Booth wanted poster after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater.
This is a really, really important part of American history.
Rick is fascinated but wary. "This thing should be in a museum," he mutters. The seller insists that the stain on the check proves its authenticity, but Rick isn't convinced. He explains that fakes of this poster were already circulating in the 1800s, making the story even murkier. "How do I know some guy back then didn't fake it?" he asks. Fair point. People have been counterfeiting history long before eBay existed.
John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater, then jumped down to the stage and escaped. It was just a massive shock to the country.
Booth was hoping to totally destroy the U.S. government. He also planned to have the Secretary of State and the Vice President.
Rick calls in Dana, a Civil War document expert. Dana brings a verified original copy for comparison, and the differences are obvious immediately. After a careful side-by-side review, Dana breaks the news gently. The seller's poster is a souvenir reproduction, likely printed for the 50th anniversary of Lincoln's assassination. Value, probably under $100. The seller looks crushed. Dreams of $30,000 evaporate faster than hope at a rigged carnival booth.
Holy cow.
This is the real deal. These are absolutely some of the most iconic documents in American history. Different printers had different styles. This particular type, there's only 4 known to exist.
But then comes a plot twist. As Dana packs up, Rick asks, "Wait, what about that real one you brought?" Dana is stunned, but explains his client would sell it for $180,000. Rick fires back with a cautious $100,000. Negotiations heat up like a presidential debate, both men inching forward carefully. Ultimately, Dana stands firm at $150,000. Rick hesitates, sighs, and reluctantly walks away empty-handed.
Because they wanted it to be very, very visible. This would be kind of difficult to read. Obviously, the print here is substantially larger than the small print here. I have an idea of exactly what we have here.
Cut to some levity as Rick and the old man head out to inspect a 1930s penny arcade scale. The seller wants $1,000 to fund a vacation with his wife. Rick quickly spots problems: a jammed coin slot, faded paint, and visible rust. The seller warns it only registers up to 300 pounds. Rick jokes jokes, "Sorry, Pops," teasing the old man as they test the finicky machine together.
So me and the old man are on our way to go check it out. So what do you got here?
I got a 1930 penny arcade scale.
Does it work?
Yes, it works.
Hey, Pops, why don't you get on it?
Why not?
Wait. It only goes to 300 pounds.
They drop a coin and instantly jam the slot. "Now you broke it," the seller shouts. Rick insists he didn't touch anything, but the machine is stuck solid. After sharing a good laugh, they negotiate. Rick offers $650, the seller pushes higher, and they finally compromise at $775. The seller celebrates, shouting, "We're going to South Carolina, baby!" Vacation officially funded thanks to one stubborn, rusty arcade relic.
You turn the dial, set what you think you weigh, put the penny in. If your weight is correct, get your penny back. Obviously, you wait for free.
Okay, put the penny in, and this thing's stuck now. You broke it, Rick.
Next comes full Top Gun energy. A man brings in his brother-in-law's Desert Storm fighter pilot gear, complete with G-suit and helmet. Rick excitedly explains how the suit keeps blood from pooling when pulling 9 Gs. "So, it squeezes your butt?" Chumlee asks. Rick sighs. To verify everything, they call in Matt, an actual F-18 pilot and former Blue Angels member. Matt arrives with undeniable expertise and enough aviation credentials to humble everyone immediately.
The G-suits got me really intrigued. Being in this business 30 years, I have never seen a G-suit.
Really?
I actually have a friend who's a fighter pilot. He knows all about this stuff, and he'll be able to tell us what it's worth. Let me go give him a call. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Thank
you.
Matt inspects the gear thoroughly and confirms it's authentic military issue. The helmet alone could fetch several $1,000s, while the G-suit is easily worth over $1,000. "You can't just buy this stuff," he explains. "You earn it." With that validation, Rick offers $500. The seller counters at $2,000, and after some negotiating, they meet at $1,000. The seller leaves happy, and Rick scores rare aviation gear.
Matt, how's it going, man? This is what we got.
Well, this looks familiar. I'm a U.S. Marine Corps F-18 pilot with about 17 years experience. I'm a graduate of the Naval Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, and a former U.S. Navy Blue Angel pilot. You got your helmet here, and it looks like the standard helmet that any fighter pilot would wear.
The seller admits the gear had just been sitting around, so walking out with $1,000 feels like a win. Rick, meanwhile, is thrilled to add authentic Desert Storm pilot equipment to the shop's collection. Items like this rarely appear on the market because they generally stay with military personnel. It's a satisfying deal all around, made even sweeter by the credibility Matt brought with his jaw-dropping background in aviation.
I was thinking more like $500.
Ooh, 500.
It's not like there's a million people out there buying it.
Yeah, but you're not going to find this everywhere. You only get this if you were a pilot.
How about $800?
How about 15?
I'll tell you what, I'll go $1,000 on it, and I don't even know why I'm going that much.
Next, a man arrives holding a 1930s Chicago pie plate badge he believes could be linked to Al Capone's era. He wants $400. Rick is intrigued but skeptical, explaining that such badges are heavily faked. He brings in Mark, a museum administrator and specialist in law enforcement memorabilia. Mark examines the hallmark, weight, and number stamping, acknowledging the craftsmanship is correct, which only deepens the mystery surrounding who actually issued the badge originally.
The federal government actually considered going in and replacing the police department in Chicago. In Prohibition-era Chicago, mobster Al Capone ran the city. This badge is tied to a really interesting period in Chicago history. If it's real, I'll have no problem selling it.
Mark reveals the truth. It isn't Chicago police at all. The badge was issued to private security serving the Armour meatpacking plant. Technically, the wearer had limited deputy authority, but it wasn't tied to major law enforcement or gangster history. Basically a rent-a-cop, Mark jokes. Still, it's an authentic 1930s badge. The seller admits disappointment, but understands. Even without mob ties, it remains a quirky relic from Chicago's industrial past.
Well, what have we got? The interesting thing about the pie plate style is they used this for 50 years in Chicago.
And isn't it true that Al Capone used fake badges similar to this?
Everybody used fake badges similar to this.
Negotiations kick off. The seller clings to $300. Rick counters at $125, and after a round of bargaining, they compromise at $150. The seller shrugs, saying, "It's authentic, just not what I thought." For a badge that sat forgotten in a drawer for 40 years, that's still an easy payday. Rick pockets a unique conversation piece, even if it's more meatpacking guard than Prohibition-era lawman.
I'll meet you in the middle at 150.
Couldn't go to 160.
No, 150 would be tops. That's it. I'm done with it.
Okay, 150. It's a deal.
Okay.